I asked both of them to send me questions that are asked of them, right? They're both laughing because they know exactly what I'm about to say. Are there pirates?
When you call MarineMax to do a vacation, a charter, you're going to talk to one of these ladies. Be nice to them.
Do people seriously ask you, are there pirates?
They do.
Yeah.
It's not the
Thankfully,
pirates that we just dressed up for Halloween, Alan.
Yeah.
I know. When you call MarineMax, the first person you talk to is your person for the rest of the trip.
Once everyone finalizes dates, boat size, you just place a deposit and then you're reserved.
So to have a flotilla, you need 5 boats or more. So then we'll consider that a flotilla.
So Tammy, is that like Grandpa calling up and saying, I got all the money and let's book 5 boats for the family?
Yeah, I hear that. Yep.
Well, hello, gang. I'm back here in Omaha. I'm in the, I don't know what you call, well, that's the bar, obviously, right behind me, so I'm in the perfect spot. Today's video is about, I want to charter a boat, and I want to go to the BVI. How do I do it? Where do I start? How do I begin? There are a lot of websites that have an immediate phone number to call. There are websites that they want you to fill out a form first. So there are a lot of different ways of getting a hold of somebody and chartering a boat. About 6 years ago, this is before COVID, I had an issue with the moorings boat, and I'm not knocking moorings because I have a lot of subscribers and followers who charter from the moorings all the time, and they're very happy. So not knocking moorings. But I had an issue with the boat, and afterwards I kept trying to call them to try to solve the issue, and every time I called them, I got a completely different person, and I had to re-explain what the issue was over and over. It drove me nuts. So the one thing I love about MarineMax is that when you call MarineMax, the first person you talk to is your person for the rest of the trip, and even after the trip. And that's an amazing thing. So smartly, guess who I have with me? Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hi, Alan. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
Tammy Worthing, who is right here. Tammy is the first person I ever spoke with that was an employee of MarineMax Vacations. Is that correct? That's correct, right?
Yeah, that is correct. I went back and looked at all of your past bookings, and yeah, it was, I think your first charter was in 2019, so we probably started talking, 6 to 12 months before that, I bet.
By the way, this is Danielle Gage. Say hello, Danielle.
Hey, how are you guys?
You actually know Danielle because you saw her in a lot of the videos from the Flotilla last October, because Danielle put that Flotilla together, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But that's a new boat that you're sitting in because that's a TV stand and there's no TV on it back there. So hopefully, is that a sold boat, or are we trying to sell this boat?
Yeah, no, it's a sold boat. It's actually leaving for the BVI's on Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty exciting.
All right, cool. All right. So, Tammy, since I spoke with you first, tell me what happens if I call you up. Generally, what's the first thing somebody who's never taken a charter in the BVI, what do they say? What do they ask?
People find us, through friends, referrals, website. And I find that if I just let them tell me what their kind of thoughts are, and then that's where we start the process. Usually we'll start with what size group do you have? Do you want a captain? Do you want a crude all-inclusive? What are your dates? That's a really important one. And then we go from there. And then,
who just dang?
Me, let me turn it off.
Oh, Danielle, you dinged right in the middle of everything. Oh, how embarrassing. Continue, Tammy, please. Oh, look, there's more. There's more.
Yeah, one more time.
Okay.
He won something.
Wait.
By the way, if you folks can't tell, I know these ladies very well because obviously I hang around MarineMax Vacations a lot, and I actually was with them on Joost Van Dyke one afternoon, and there's some great footage that you'll see.
When you call MarineMax to do a vacation, a charter, you're going to talk to one of these ladies. Be nice to them.
Yes, they're all sitting in the same chair. And yes, this is us making our own drinks. So
apparently I'm going to make my own drink here at Gertrude's. Cheers, everybody.
All right, so before you were so rudely interrupted, Tammy, continue on.
I'm so glad you mentioned how you have one contact, because from the very beginning, I know exactly what's going on. Danelle knows, all of our ladies who do it, we do. They know like your plans, where you're headed. Once everyone finalizes dates, boat size, you just place a deposit and then you're reserved. And then from there, we don't book travel, we don't book air, but we can help them. We send airport codes and everything you'll need for getting into BVI.
There is no way especially if you're doing your first charter, every question to ask. It's impossible. Having the same person to talk to is invaluable. It has to be.
There are a lot of moving parts, but we are here to help, and that is what we do. And
right.
Become good friends by the end of it all, as you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, switching over to Danielle, I just have to say, it's Daniel, really?
It's
Danielle.
right here. Let me introduce myself. My name is spelled Danielle, but I pronounce my name Danelle. So once you get to know me, you become my friend, and my name is pronounced Danelle. How's that?
And this is my personal hell I have with her. So anyway, generally it just gets cut short to D.
Yeah.
Hey, D.
That's exactly what happens. D or Danny. So
Danny's a good one as well. Now, I know you put together the Hillbilly Flotilla last October, and we're doing another one this year in October as well. But I also know you put together flotillas. I don't know if there are a series of parties. Maybe there's 4 families that want to go together and they all want to book at the same time. And I know that's kind of your specialty in what you do. So explain to me that process.
So to have a flotilla, you need 5 boats or more. So then we'll consider that a flotilla. And then at that point, we kind of take it over as a group and put everything together, from reservations at restaurants to if we're doing docks, everything 100% taken care of, set up from start to finish. But what we typically do is store getaways with MarineMax. Any of the MarineMax stores, like if you've bought a boat from them or if you're a customer, we will put a getaway together for a store. I have 3 of them coming up right now. First one is in July with Miami. So we have 10 boats going out on that flotilla.
Oh, now explain that to me. So a MarineMax store is going on their own flotilla.
Correct.
So it's like a I don't know, like a company party or a company getaway.
Pretty much, but it's with our customers. So MarineMax is very big about doing getaways. The other groups that we target are yacht clubs. So if you're a yacht club, we have 10 boats. 10 is the max, by the way, for a flotilla.
Right.
If you have more than that, it just gets a little bit chaotic. And if you figure if you have 8 to 10 people, that can be anywhere from 75 to 100 people. And we're trying to get dinner reservations and have parties and, every night. So we have to plan that out. And then obviously family getaways. I have a customer right now that called yesterday, and he wants 5 boats to go out on a family trip.
That's fantastic. So Tammy, is that like Grandpa calling up and saying, "I got all the money and let's book 5 boats for the family"?
Yeah, I hear that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's such a great thing to have families come together and do 2 or 3 boats and just go out together and just make these amazing, incredible memories. So we can do all combinations. Yeah.
Just to let you guys know, I asked both of them to send me questions that are asked of them, right? And so I want to go over some of them, but I have to point to my favorite one immediately.
Oh no!
And they're both laughing because they know exactly what I'm about to say, and I just have to read it verbatim. Actually, if I can find it. Oh yeah, here it is. Are there pirates? Do people seriously ask you, are there pirates?
They do.
They do. There are.
Well,
yeah.
Expand, please. Expand.
Yeah.
It's not the pirates that we just dressed up for Halloween, Alan.
Yeah.
I know. That's the thing. I'll show you footage right now of pirates. There you go. Happen to be on Halloween, but and by the way, they don't look very dangerous.
No.
But I'm making light of this, but I do know people are worried about their safety, because if you've never been out there and done this, and you're sitting there thinking, is the boat locked at night while we're sleeping, right? Is the boat locked while we're gone to dinner? And that's not necessarily about pirates. That's just about people stealing stuff off your boat and strangers coming aboard your boat when you're in the middle of another country. So I understand the concern. I don't understand how you put that word into pirates.
Yeah.
But when people do ask you those questions, how do you answer them?
Basically, it's safe in the BVIs. When somebody asks me for concerns, what's the safety down there? Are there pirates? Are people going to get on our boat while we're sleeping? No, the answer is no. I mean, I can't guarantee 100%, obviously, but for the BVIs is safe. It's very family oriented. Everybody loves to hang out. They love us coming in. So it's just it's a silly question that people need to make sure for safety that they're good. But
Right.
really, that's pretty much it. It's very safe down there.
I think a lot of times it's a geography. You know, people, there are pirates in the world, but, you know, just this particular area in the world, it's very safe. You know, so super safe. So I get it, right? People are just concerned about safety and stuff. But yeah, like Danelle said, BVI, very safe.
I've always said on my channel, the thing is about the BVI, and I think obviously there are other places around the world that are like this, but I think BVI is also one of the more special places in the world where every resident of the British Virgin Islands realizes that their entire economy is based upon tourism.
Correct.
And it's based upon charter boats and charter folks and people spending tons of money. So the last thing they need is some stupid guy jumping on your boat and stealing stuff out of your boat while you're at dinner. That's the last thing they need. So that's why and I agree with you, Danny. I have heard of it happening, and it is unfortunate, but it's not dangerous by any means whatsoever. So I just wanted to really address that issue. Tell me about other things. Insurance it becomes a big deal. Obviously, that's been a big deal in my life over the last year. Tell me because I think some people are confused by that, because you do have insurance when you charter a boat, but correct me if I'm wrong, and either one of you chime in. Mm-hmm. Everything's protected except below underwater. Am I correct?
We can both tag in on this, but we have two deductibles. Depending on, it goes off of what boat you're on. But for the 54s, it's 25,000, right? 25,000 below, 15,000 above water. So if you go out and damage the boat, the max you're going to pay out of pocket is $25,000. And then above water obviously explains anything on top of the boat that's not touching the water. That's what you would pay.
Right.
And the biggest questions that we get is, please explain it a little bit more about it. What does that mean? The best way to explain it is think about your car insurance. You go out and get in a car accident, you have a deductible, correct? So if you get in a car accident, you have to pay your deductible to get it fixed. That's what we do. That's what we take. That's the best way I can describe it.
Now, this is not an option when you charter. This is part of the overall charge of the week-long charter, the 5-day charter, whatever the charter is. That's part of the contract, correct?
Correct. Yeah. It's included, just like the BVI government taxes and fees. This is just something that everyone has to pay.
Okay. So speaking of money, I get asked this question all the time, and I know this is a huge variable as well, but I know you guys can get me in the ballpark a lot better than I ever could. So let's say if I wanted to come down and rent an Aquila 44, which is a 3-bedroom, 3-stateroom, boat, and I'm there for 7 nights. What's this going to cost me? Give me a guesstimate.
I would say 13 to 16,000 for 7 nights on the water with all your taxes and fees. The range is like low season, summer months, up to like the Christmas, New Year's holiday time, which is the most expensive time to go.
You're going to think about your additional expenses too. So that's the charter price. Really, the only extra charges you're going to have on the boat are fuel and water toys and provisioning.
Well, provisioning is no small thing, and I know that obviously because I had a boat down there for years, and it depends on your alcohol intake, of course. But a weekly provision, I mean, that's anywhere from $600 to $1,200. Don't you think, gals? Isn't that about right?
Did one. I put one in yesterday because I'm going down on the 22nd of April, and it was $1,300.
Exactly. Yeah.
$1,300, and that includes alcohol and liquor.
I was going to say, it sounded like a lot of champagne was involved in that order.
There was some of that.
How many people, Danelle, do you have going?
That is for 8 people on the 54.
Yeah. So That's
On a 54 footer. All right, so let's move up to the 54 footer, Danny. So what are you paying? A 54 footer, by the way. So you've got at least 10 guests, or you get 8 guests plus a crew.
Correct.
Correct. Right. Okay.
Yes, correct.
So if I'm doing a 54 footer without a crew, it's a bare boat. What's that costing me? What are we talking about
And
there?
depending on the season, again, you're going to be between 27 and 32, roughly,
Right.
for the.
Okay. And this is the thing I'm really interested in. You also have several boats that have a captain and a chef aboard. Okay, that's got to be a lot more than that, right?
What
That's
is
going
this
to
going
cost
for?
you
About
more.
36 right now, Tammy.
Yeah, I would say
about 36.
34 to 36. Yeah, for 7 nights. Yeah.
Does that include food?
That include, yeah, that's everything except crew gratuity. But your food, beverages, breakfast, snack, lunch, hors d'oeuvres, cocktails,
Water toys, fuel.
water toys,
Wow.
upgraded dinghy,
Wow.
and then you step on and you do not lift a finger. They are there to take care of everything for you. So it's a great experience.
How come every time they give me a boat for free for a week that I don't get one of those? I wonder-
We are in that.
Can you imagine waking up and the eggs are already made and then you don't
Yeah.
even have to wash the dishes afterwards?
Yes, my type of trip.
And then they make your bed while you're eating. Right.
I'm all good with that.
Well, since we
Right.
kind of talked about travel and taxi, one of the things that I do want to clarify, because this is such a big question and it can get very confusing for people. If you are flying into St. Thomas, you still have to get to the BVIs because that's considered part of your travel. It's a layover. We're not picking you up in St. Thomas because people will see taxi transfers. We pick you up once you clear customs in the British Virgin Islands.
I think you probably also have to answer this question. A lot of people really aren't clear that St. Thomas is not the BVI.
Correct.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is USVI. Yep.
It's still United States. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a new thing in the last, I don't know, 5-7 years. CPAPs. All these old men are having CPAPs. I was on a 48 once, and somebody was wearing one. I won't say who. Might have been me. I don't know. But it blew the circuit every time.
I don't think it should not be
Yeah.
a problem. If you're having issues like that and something like that comes, you might have to turn something off on the
Right.
panel board. And
The panel?
Yeah,
Right.
it should keep it from tripping.
Yeah.
And we can get you distilled water because I know those machines. That's a pretty common question.
Or if you're having issues and it keeps flipping, call the tech team. That's what they are there to help you troubleshoot and figure out.
I will tell you, this is the stupidest thing you've ever heard. But 1 week on my boat, when I was down in the BVI, I had 5 guys on my boat, and all 5 of us had a CPAP, and nothing tripped, broke.
Oh.
We all slept through the night. It was one of my proudest moments. Is that the stupidest thing you ever heard in your life?
Showing your age, Alan. You're showing your age.
Yeah. Okay, ladies. Well, look, that's kind of all I wanted to do. My main focus on this was to say that if you book a charter with MarineMax, you're going to meet and talk to professionals like these two. And the greatest thing is the first time you talk to one of them, they're going to be the only person you talk to from beginning to end, which is incredible. I mean, and so the service you get there is, and this is why I say this all the time, I just believe MarineMax Vacations service is second to none down in the BVI if you want to go down to the BVI. I also think their boats are better than all the other boats down there, but I'm a little biased by that.
Yeah.
We're still working on a spring flotilla.
Well, there is a
because-
waiting list, so people are ready to
Really?
comment. Yes. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Okay, ladies, thank you for your time.
Yes.
You're both wonderful. I can't wait to throw back a painkiller with you at some point again.
Absolutely.
And I hope and pray you have a great day, okay?
All right. It's good
Thank
seeing you, Alan. We'll talk
Yeah,
to you
Good to see you
soon.
guys.
you.